welcome to Lorelai's Classic Life. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. And I want to thank all of you guys for sticking around with me. If you guys have been to my roll recipe, my yeast rolls, it's one of my first videos that I did, and it's kind of my older video. So today I want to put together a new revised version of my dad's yeast rolls. My dad is no longer here with me anymore, but I still think of him every single day, and when I make dishes like this, it also brings me closer to him, and I just know he's here with me always. So I wanted to share this recipe that's special to our family, and I hope it's special to yours. So you guys, come on in so I can show you what you're going to be needing today. Okay guys, the first thing you're going to need is warm water, a half a cup of warm water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Now that's just for 1 portion of your bread, just to get it to rise. I like to do this process because it doesn't matter if it's instant or active or just regular plain yeast. I always like to proof my yeast, because before I proof my yeast, if it's good, then I want to use the rest of my ingredients instead of wasting them, especially during this precious time right now. You're gonna need 1 large egg, and I beat that egg, not literally, but beat it. 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt, a half a cup of sugar, and I have 3/4 cup of evaporated milk, or 6 ounces of evaporated milk, as well as 1/4 cup of melted or softened butter, about 5 cups of flour, and that's all going to depend on your weather, where you live, how much you're going to need. But I'll show you the consistency you are going to need for this recipe and for these rolls to be delicious. So the first thing you're going to want to do, guys, is with the water and the sugar, I take this and I just dump it all in the cup with the warm water. And this is because I add the sugar, some sugar, to the yeast, because what the yeast does is it feeds off of it. So when your yeast is nice and grown and bubbly, that's when we're gonna wanna do the rest of the ingredients. So right now we'll just wait until that yeast activates and gets that going. Look guys, see how much it rose and foamed up? That's how you're gonna want your yeast. If it's not like this, then I would advise for you to just start over at this point, but make sure your water is not too cold or too hot, because that won't activate the yeast either. A little trick you can do is test it on your wrist, kind of like a baby bottle, and if it's not too hot for your wrist, then it should be just perfect for this. So now I'm just gonna place this into my bowl, and I'm gonna put all the liquid ingredients, the evaporated canned milk, as well as the egg, and I'm also going to place 1/4 cup of melted butter. You're also going to want to place it in at this point as well as your sugar. Now I don't place my salt in till the very last when I add my flour. That's because sometimes the salt can deactivate your yeast, so I always just take that extra precaution. So I'm going to take it a half a cup at a time. I have 5 cups of flour in here, but right now I'm going to put about 3 cups first, and then just test it out. That's 2 cups because these are half a cups. And that's 3 cups. Now I'm going to place my salt above the flour. And make sure, you guys, if you don't have a stand mixer like this, I do have another video of French bread and I show you how to knead on that one. So I'll link the video down below in the description on this video if you guys want to learn how to do it by hand, because you can also do this process by hand. I have a hand mixer and today I'm going to use my KitchenAid because that's what I used in my very first video. And I'm just going to kind of mix everything together and see how it goes from there. Okay, you guys, you see how after 3 cups, you see how sticky and wet it is down there? You don't want that. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to add a half a cup at a time. Don't add a full cup, especially if this is your first time doing it. Make sure you add it slowly. That way I'll show you exactly the consistency you're gonna want it once this half a cup, because it's going to all depend on your weather or the climate where you live. And that's going to make a big difference in the flour. That's why I don't like to give precise cups, because each one of us lives in a different environment. But I am going to show you how you're going to want your dough. So after my half a cup, see how it's still a little too sticky? A little bit too sticky still. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, it's not a full half a cup, I'm adding a 1/4. So right now we have almost 4 cups of flour put in there. And you just want to incorporate your flour. You're going to want to incorporate your flour slowly, just so I'll show you exactly how you're going to want it. So now, see how that is still a little bit sticky? I think I'm going to do the full half a cup. So we're at 4 cups now. This is something that my dad used to make every Thanksgiving, and he used to have us make it. He used to do everything by hand, but I started doing it when he got sick. So this is something that is really close to our heart and our family. So I hope you appreciate and enjoy this recipe. Now I think I like the consistency on how this is going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knead it on the machine, probably at a 4 for about maybe like 3 minutes. Alrighty guys, this is how you're gonna want your dough to look. See how it's tacky still, but it's not sticking to your hand? That's how you're gonna want your dough. And now I'm going to take it out. Now look, when I took the dough out of the bowl, see how nice it is? You can work with it, it's pliable. This is how you're gonna want to do your dough. Now, don't get discouraged if your dough ain't perfect, because us, as being in the kitchen and bakers, we've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. So just do the best that you can. So now I'm just going to kind of form it into like a little log. And I have this cutter, but you can use a knife if you don't have one of these. And I'm just going to try to take even pieces out of there, because you want to make sure your rolls cook evenly. But if you have a scale or something to weigh these, you can also do that. I don't have one, so I just utilize what I have. If you roll it up and you feel like oh, it's bigger than the other one, just pinch a little bit off and re-roll it. I'm going to show you how to roll these right now. Let me cut these into pieces, kind of even. See how I feel this is little than the rest? And I'm going to take a piece that I feel is bigger. I can just fill it with my hand. And I'm going to pinch a little piece off of there, just to kind of make things even. So now what I do is I take it in my hand, and you're going to want to pinch and pull, pinch and pull, pinch, and then pull it in the center, pinch and pull. And the reason why I'm pinching and pulling to the center is because it's going to make your roll round, and it's going to flatten out, see this part, the top of your bread, so it won't be so lumpy and bumpy. And you just kind of continue to pinch and pull into the center, and then bring it all in and pinch it. And what I do after that is I take it and I roll it in a circular motion in between your hand, and there is your roll. And you just want to do that with the rest of these. Like I said, just make sure they feel even to you. You know, if some feel bigger than the other, just pinch it off. Make them even size. Just work with it how you think is best, because these are going to be your rolls, and they're going to be so delicious. My family loves them. I know everybody who's eaten them have loved my rolls. So just do your best you can, because especially with these times, you're going to want to focus on what's important, which is the people around you. So just do the best you can. Pinch and pull, pinch and pull, and then pinch at the end and roll. Now I'm going to continue to roll all the rest of these out. And if you want to put butter in your pan, I'm going to just spray some spray oil in there. But if you want to take like the butter paper and put butter in there, you're more than welcome to do that. And then you just place them in your pan like that. You're going to want to give room, because they are going to rise. That's what's going to give you the fluff. Now this is an easy recipe because I revised it from my other one. I used to have it sitting for 2 hours and then roll them out and form them. But we're just going to do one rise on these. They're going to come out just as delicious. So I hope you enjoy. Let me finish these up. We're all done, guys. We got 16 rolls out of this, but depending on the size of your rolls, you're gonna get anywhere between 12 and 16 rolls. So another thing I'm gonna do is you wanna make sure you place it in a warm area so it can rise and get doubled in size and get that fluffy air in it. So I'm just gonna cover it with a little blanket of a tea towel. I'm just gonna cover it with a cloth, and you're just gonna let it sit for an hour. So once an hour comes or it doubles in size, then I'll show you how they're gonna look. It's been a little over an hour, and see how they doubled from where they were. That's how you're gonna want them before you stick them into the oven, because they're gonna rise more when they're in the oven. So you want to make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees. That's where I have my oven. And I'm gonna place these delicate babies inside. There they go. Alrighty guys, look it. I took these out earlier because they were getting darker, and I brushed them with a little bit of butter. But these ones, whoa, should be done. These ones were a little bit bigger, so I left them in a little longer. So they took about 20 minutes to cook. Depends on how dark you want them. Woo! Guys, see how shiny they look? If you want, I give you two options. You can brush butter on the top of them, or you can leave them plain. Guys, look at that. If I don't burn myself, look at all that goodness. If you guys could just smell it. Whew. Look at all that goodness, guys. It's so soft. I'm gonna wait till it cools off for a minute because my hands are burning. I want you to first appreciate, look at that fluff and that crumb. And I want to show you when I pull it apart. Look at that, nice and fluffy. And you're gonna love these, I'm telling you. So good. You know what, guys? This would be so good with honey butter. My honey butter recipe. I'm gonna give that to you guys soon. I'm gonna put this roll down before I eat the whole. If you love a sweet roll, you're definitely gonna love these. This is from our family recipe. Something that I took and made it my own. So please try it out. But most importantly, love on one another, appreciate each other, and don't forget, guys, to support my channel. But most importantly, don't forget to take care of yourselves. Until next time, I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye.